What's up, everybody? We're here with Deeas, the winner of the Tsunami Open, and he has an Eldlich deck profile here today for you guys. So let's get into it. So he's running three Ash Blossom, three DD Crow, and three Eldlich the Golden Lord, and then three Gamma and one Driver. So that's interesting. I know a lot of people are running Ash Blossom and Crow as like the good hand traps that hit just about everything. But why did you decide to run Cyframe Gear Gamma?
Like obviously, like you said, Ash and Crow is sort of like self-explanatory when it comes to, I guess, just in general and the meta right now. But Gamma is sort of like one of my favorite hand traps because of the sort of dual purpose, both on your turn as like a protective effect, and on your opponent's turn of being an absolute blowout. So, particularly against a rock deck, what I found was like I have a lot of hand traps in my deck, and main reason is that if you're able to stop the rock deck going second before they start comboing, they sort of just fall flat on their face a lot of the time if they don't have the appropriate extenders.
Yeah.
So Gamma is neat because a lot of the excavators for the Adamantipator deck, they sort of need like another either a rock or an Adamantipator on the field. So I think that's Analyzer or and Researcher respectively, or one of the others.
Yeah.
But Gamma not only negates the excavation, but also gets rid of the body on board, which I think is huge. Similarly for like other starters as well, for Doki Doki and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Going second, a lot of time people like to like blind Ash or X Drive, or if you use Eldritch the Lord effect,
Yeah.
right? A lot of people try to crow it or something.
Yeah.
So Gamma is huge in that respect because it sort of protects your own play and makes your opponent go neg. And what's really interesting is that Gamma is a big power play, especially on your turn, because once you go into Omega, you're able to basically put your grind game into overdrive because Omega puts back your banish spell and trap cards back into your grave so that even on your opponent's turn, you're able to use the effect again, provided you didn't use those effects on the field already.
Oh wow, that Omega interaction is actually really good. So you just plus even more. Damn.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and I guess in game one when you don't know what your opponent's playing, Omega is really cool because you're obviously like you have a chance of understanding what your opponent's playing and then appropriately setting up your board
Yeah.
to obviously combat your opponent's deck.
Yeah. Because
So
I do know that like when people play Gamma, it's because they have a lot of spells that they want to activate before they actually commit to a board of monsters, and like
mhm.
it's like a pseudo called by the grave, and but generally it's just like a free link too. So that was interesting why you rank Omega, and it makes sense. You put the banished spell traps back in grave.
Exactly, because like you really don't commit to your board. Like the only thing you're committing, I guess, in my entire list is either the Golden Lord, which is usually on your opponent's turn, or the Border,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the big Ash targets in this deck would really be the Cursed Outland, which really sets up your plays.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big I guess Ogre target and an Ash target,
Yeah.
and Extrav obviously,
Yeah.
and then obviously going second, because especially like in the against the invoked Eldlich deck, when they end up trying to use Makaba, you chain Gamma, so you get rid of their Makaba, they lose a card in their hand, and you get your Golden Lord effect or either effect back online.
Yeah, that's really strong. Um, okay, so then you're running three Cursed Eldland. This is like the ultimate starter, right? It's basically like
Oh yeah, this does everything for the
yeah,
deck. I'm surprised it wasn't a secret rare,
yeah.
but it fetches whatever you're missing. So if you're missing a Golden Lord to set up your plays on your opponent's turn, it gets you that. The counter trap is searchable through this. It gets you going second. It gets you the Golden Lord in your hand, so
Mm-hmm.
you're able to use its discard effect. And once it's removed from the field, you're also able to get a Foolish Goods effect,
Okay.
by either or a Burial effect. So you either dump the Golden Lord, or you either dump one of the Golden Land spell cards to get your engine run. So
Okay.
it does a lot for the deck.
Yeah. So if this is sent from the spell trap zone to the graveyard, you can send one. Okay. Yeah. 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 So how would you? So if you needed to dump your Eldlich, the Golden Lord, to the grave, how would you? How would you actually get rid of Eldland? I know a lot of decks are running Souls, but it doesn't seem like you have any like main deck way to get rid of your own spell trap to send it to the graveyard.
So it really depends what's in my opening hand, right?
Yeah.
Like for example, if I open with the Black Elixir or the Scarlet, there's obviously no reason to get rid of it because it's sort of it keeps my opponent under pressure because they know that I'm going to keep accumulating advantage through it,
Mm-hmm.
and they sort of do need to get rid of it. But if they do get rid of it, right, I still sort of plus anyways, right? Provided they don't have Cosmic.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But say for example, I have the Black Elixir, I have Golden Lord, and I have the Outlanding on the field, right? I get whatever I'm missing. I send Black Elixir and the Golden Lord to the graveyard and targeting my own Eldland. So now I have a Disruption, and I have one of the Golden Land cards in the graveyard to get either the Scarlet or the White Elixir at my end phase. And that basically has my entire engine up and running. And I also have my Golden Lord engraved.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But you're right, and in the fact that I don't really have like a great advantage use in my deck to get rid of Golden.
Yeah.
The outline. So a lot of the times I'll just like keep it out because if anything, it's just another card on the board. I can try to revive my Golden Lord with it. In one of the other turns, and I can just keep getting more advantage in my hand for whatever I need.
Yeah. Okay. So then you're running two Black Awakening, one White Destiny. Why did you decide on these ratios in particular?
I was trying the 3 Black Awakening at first and 2 White Destiny. White Destiny was super cloggy. If it's in your hand, it does absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
It doesn't get you to your Golden Lord at all. So this is something you really just want to search mid game, to basically either for its effect to get a Golden Land onto the field, or to revive your Golden Lord from hand or graveyard, which is really good in the mirror match. The Black Awakening is neat because it's almost like a surefire way to make sure your Golden Lord is on the field, and not risk activating something like Scarlet on your opponent's turn, getting ashed, and then basically having your entire engine be dead for the remainder of the turn. So it's neat. It's just another way to get Golden Lord onto the field. It's all right. It's not the greatest, but it's a decent card.
Okay. And then you're running 2 Foolish Burial Goods to send any of the traps, I'm guessing, and then.
Exactly. So a lot of the players are playing Magician's Souls, but I found that Foolish Goods gives you a lot more control as to what you're sending and what you need. So say whatever you're missing, you're able to get right out of your deck. So that's what's really good about Eldlich, is that the Eldlixirs get the Golden Land and the Golden Land gets the Eldlixirs. So it's sort of a self-replacing engine, and it's all very consistent.
So you wouldn't consider running Souls in this deck?
No, I sort of really wouldn't, because it just adds sort of an unnecessary uncertainty to a deck that is so overall really controlled right now.
Okay. And yeah, I guess the body doesn't do anything, and you do have to run a brick when you don't have targets.
Exactly.
And then
I understand the players that run it in the invoked variant. It adds a much higher power ceiling to the invoked variant, but I wouldn't recommend it personally for the pure variant.
Okay. And then 3 Extravagance. So Extravagance is an interesting card. You're just not able to run a lot of extra deck cards. I know you're running Extravagance, and then you're running all 3 ofs except for Unicorn and Omega. And I noticed you're not running Lieb, the one that makes itself unaffected. Did you miss that card at all? Is there any reason why you cut Lieb?
I sort of didn't miss it at all. Through a lot of my testing, I found that once, a lot of the times when I got greedy and tried to push for a game with Lieb, I just ended up just either sacrificing the game entirely because my opponent had sort of a response to it. So the only train that I really sort of want to run is Gustav Max once my opponent is within that 2k lifeline range.
Okay. Yeah, so to OTK. And so there was one thing I remember commenting on. What is it? So Eldlich has a built-in way to win in time, essentially. So say you're going into game 3, and you're going to draw because you're not going to be able to pass turn, otherwise your opponent's going to kill you. So is there any way to get 2 Golden Lords on field to make a Gustav Max and burn your opponent for 2k turn 1? Or turn 0, actually?
Turn 0, not that I know of. Okay. Because at most you can get 1 Golden Lord onto the field, but if you do, for example, you can get 2 Golden Lords onto the field, but if you do, you're likely using either Black Awakening or White Destiny, and then that locks you into zombies for the rest of the turn.
Okay, so it's very, very hard to burn in time, essentially. You basically have to pass turn. Okay.
Basically.
Yeah, so 3 Conquistador, 3 Scarlet Sanguine, 1 Golden Land Forever, and 3 Huakiro of the Golden Land. So I think this is pretty standard for 3 ofs. Why did you decide to stick with 3 Scarlet Sanguine?
It's the best card in your deck, to be honest. It gets your Golden Boy onto the field on your opponent's turn. So that sort of also keeps your Gamma alive as well. So, for example, I guess in the tournament, I think it was my final game in Top Cut, I was playing against an Orcus player. So I had Scarlet Sanguine, and I'm pretty sure I had Haquero, and I had Gamma in hand. So he went through his entire Scrap combo, and when he made Scrap Wyvern, I chained Gamma to it. So Gamma was able to destroy Scrap Wyvern because I didn't commit a monster onto the field.
Yeah.
And then on resolution, I was able to go Scarlet Sanguine to get my Golden Lord onto the field.
Yeah.
And then that sort of made my Hakura alive as well.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, it just essentially almost gives you another interruption in a way. Like if you have
Basically.
Gamma in hand. Okay. And then one Golden Land forever. That seems pretty standard. But would you ever consider running two? Has that
I
ever come
initially
up?
tried to. Obviously, I don't want to run it in the main deck because once you go second, the counter trap is extremely slow.
Mhm.
I tried siding the second one, but I just ended up cutting it for another sort of side deck choice going 1st.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And then 3 impermanents for additional hand traps. You are running a big hand trap count here.
Yeah,
And then
which is something I like about the deck is that the engine is so condensed and concise that you're able to really run a lot of hand traps and not risk the fact that you don't have your engine live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely makes sense. That is like a characteristic of like a tier 1 deck where you can just like have a very slow engine requirement and just have a bunch of hand traps.
Exactly.
And then a skill drain. 1 skill drain. Why did you decide to include skill drain in the main deck?
It's such a powerful card because it turns off so many monster heavy and effect reliant sort of decks.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really hinder you at all because your trap cards are normal monsters. They obviously don't have any effects.
Yeah.
And the only relevant effect of Golden Lord activates in your hand and activates in grave. So the 3500 attack boost activates in grave. So even if skill drain is up and Golden Lord's on the field,
Mhm.
the indestructible effect and the 3500 attack doesn't go away because it activated and resolved in grave.
Oh, so you just have a giant 3500 beater under skill drain. That's
Basically.
really good. Yeah. And the send is also from hand too, right? So that isn't affected by skill drain either. Can
Exactly.
you?
So
Yeah. I'm sorry. What did you say?
sorry. So basically, yeah, you're not being hindered at all by running skill drain. I know the OCG is very reliant on running 3 skill drains, and when Eldlich first came out, a lot of the players were like piping up Eldlich that it was overhyped and overrated, and that the only success it had in the OCG was because of triple max Z and triple skill drain.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, we only have 1, but it does put in a lot of work.
I mean, also the power level here is a lot lower. Like the skill ceiling. I mean,
Yeah.
the actual like card ceiling there is a lot higher. Like they still have Orchist almost full power. Like you can play with 1 Galate
yeah.
the same way.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you're running 3 borders, so that's interesting. Like you're just going for full stun in this build, basically, right?
Yeah, border's really cool because you go first against the rock deck and you normal summon border and they just can't do anything.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And at worst, and especially border also helps make sure your Scarlet Sanguine is live so that they can't ash it on their turn.
Oh.
And it just makes it difficult for the opponent to play. Arguably, one of the most difficult matchups for this deck has to be the Dino deck, I think.
Yeah.
And just making putting border up like their only out really is a Pankratops, hard drawing the Kaiju, and Lost World. But you're able to pop Lost World with your Conquistador.
Okay.
So overall, it's a really good card, and in the tournament itself, it won me a lot of games. I'm pretty sure I played it against the Orchis player,
Yeah.
and both in the Swiss rounds and in Top Cut, and against the Dino player in Top Cut, and it just put in a lot of work.
Yeah, Border is a really powerful card. Just Border skill. I mean, not Border skill drain. Border and like a Dynamiscus is like really good. Or the Hawk Hero, not Dynamiscus. Like a pop. Yeah, that's really strong. Okay, so then your extra deck. You explained earlier why you're running your single Omega. 3 Pallades. That's just really good, right? When you have Hawk Hero and Conquistador on field, you just overlay them. Okay.
Exactly. So it's really unseen, but it's really good because obviously you have 2 bounces. So an interesting thing is that you can actually, it more so applies for the invoked build, but you can bounce back Meltdown to your hand to have another Meltdown to search another Alistair again, which is pretty cool. In the mirror, it comes up a lot where you either want to bounce the Golden Lord back to their hand, or if they chain one of their continuous traps, you chain Pallades and bounce back the continuous trap back to their hand.
Yeah.
So it adds a lot of disruption in various.
Yeah. That does sound really good though. Setting up a Pallades sometimes is enough. 3 Gustav Max to do the Eldlich OTK.
Oh yeah. So basically 2 Eldlich, one at 3500 and one at 2500. You attack with both of them, and your opponent would be exactly at 2k provided they had full life,
Mhm.
and you just overlay the two and you just go into Gustav Max. So basically it's the new cowboy of this era.
Yeah, yeah. And then 3 Imduck and 3 Sucker. So why did you decide to run Imduck? Because it's very, very situational, it seems like. Like if it battles an opponent's monster, you can destroy an opponent's monster, but only if it points to the card.
Yeah, so it's sort of when I was looking through like what I can use to link away my trap cards, because a lot of the time, for example, you just have no way to get one of your Eldlichs live and making sure you have Golden Lord onto the field. So if you're able to somehow get one of your Golden Lord trap cards into the grave, then you can sort of get your engine running again.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah.
so my entire thinking was I sort of want a card that has like a purpose of sending one of my trap cards to the grave, but also can do something on the field.
Mhm.
So I know a lot of players were playing Link Spider initially, which is all right because it sort of gets your driver out of hand, I guess. If you hard draw it,
Yeah.
it has 1,000 attack. But Index neat because it's sort of reminiscent of that new Relinquished Anima, which sort of has the same sort of condition where it has to point to the monster to be able to activate its effect.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the time, because people haven't been playing the Anima like physically, so they're not used to the entire sort of monster zone interaction. And so because of Master Rule 5, a lot of people are putting their important monsters of Fusion, Xyz, and Synchros underneath the extra monster zone, right? Not wary of the fact that Imduck and Relinquished Anima is a card. So for example, I know this came up in one of my Swiss rounds
Yeah.
against a Dino player. He left his UCT under the extra monster zone.
Mm-hmm.
So I just linked away my trap card into Imduck, went straight to battle phase. Obviously, miscellaneous source cannot protect it in battle phase.
Yeah.
And I was just able to get rid of the UCT just like that. So it actually put in quite a bit of work. It came up, and so not only was it able to destroy a monster, it left me with the body on board, and it was also able to put the trap card in grave.
Yeah, yeah. That's a pretty powerful effect. It's like a construct kind of effect. Yeah.
Exactly.
And you just punish people for bad column play. And then 3
Exactly.
and then 3 Sucker. So why are you running 3 Sucker? Because you need to target a card in your opponent's graveyard and special it to the field. And then the draw 1 card is only when it's summoned from grave. So I'm pretty sure that only works with White Destiny.
So that works with both White Destiny and it also works with Scarlet Sanguine.
Uh-huh.
And it's neat because the first effect where it targets and revives a monster, that monster is turned into a zombie monster once it hits the field.
Mm-hmm.
So that triggers Sucker's second effect of drawing 1. And I found it to be relevant in simplified game states where I'm able to gain the upper hand by linking away my Eldlich and my Trap.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets my Trap in grave, gets my Eldlich in grave, and then the Eldlich can revive itself. So the Golden Lord, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
The Golden Lord can revive itself to gain that 35,000 attack boost. I get a draw off of Sucker by using Sucker's effect on my opponent's graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
And usually I'm reviving things like Ash Blossom or like DD Crow or something with very minimal attack defense, sorry.
Yeah, so you can beat over it, basically.
Yeah, and I start, replenishing resources like that. It's also neat in the mirror match because people do use Scarlet Sanguine and White Destiny to revive from the graveyard. For example, if you're using your Haquero, they'll just chain something to revive from their graveyard so they don't get their Lord managed, and you're just able to, plus continuously back and forth with Sucker.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And then you ran Nightmare Unicorn. Why Nightmare Unicorn over like Phoenix or Cerberus? And like I initially thought, because I didn't fully read Sucker, that you could bring back, it was like a Hida for zombies, and that's why you ran Unicorn, but that was not the case at all. And I read it again.
Yeah, it wasn't the case, but Unicorn sort of came up like for example against the Rock deck. I know I'm gonna reference a Rock deck a lot because it's
the deck is crazy. Yeah,
it's crazy. It's all gas. But Unicorn is neat because Unicorn can shuffle back their Black Dragon. In the mirror, you're able to shuffle back the Golden Lord so that they're reliant on something like Black Elixir or Scarlet Sanguine to make sure their Lord is back online.
Yeah.
And it just gets rid of like problematic cards, such like a big Nibiru that you can't just out easily.
Yeah. No, that makes sense, yeah. Did you like look into any rank 5s and maybe spin into the deck?
The only other rank 5 I considered was I forgot the number, but it's Volcasaurus.
Yeah.
And that is another card that burns your opponent. So it's just 2 level 5s that overlay, and you're able to pop 1 monster your opponent controls, and they get the full burnt of damage equal to his attack.
Okay. Okay. Face up monster, destroy that opponent's monster, and if you do, inflict damage. Okay. Oh, so it's like spot removal, but not quite as good as Unicorn. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you ran one Pankratops, just because it's a strong card, free body.
Mhm.
Yeah. Three Nibiru. I'm gonna guess this is for the primary concern, just any combo.
Any combo, also salad.
Yeah.
Gotta respect salad.
Oh yeah. Salamangreats are still good. Very resilient. Three Cosmics. For the mirror match, Cosmic or
Cosmic is just for a lot, I guess. Both alter guys mirror match. It's insane in the mirror match because they activate their trap card, which is continuous, and you chain Cosmic, and now that trap card doesn't resolve its effect, and it doesn't get to grave effect either. So you're almost technically putting them 2 turns behind in a sense.
there was also an interaction that was interesting. So like there haven't been actual official rulings yet, and I don't think I saw any OCG rulings about it. But like Phoenix versus an already summoned Hakira or Conquistador, how does that ruling work?
So that ruling still works, as in like Phoenix is still able to target the monster that's in the monster zone because
Yeah.
it says target a spell or trap card.
Yeah, it doesn't say.
It's different from something like Salamangreat Heat Leo, where Heat Leo specifically states that target something in the spell and trap card zone.
Yeah.
So that's why you're not able to target obviously field spells with Heat Leo,
Yeah.
and you're not able to target something like Conquistador and Hakuero in the main monster zone.
Okay.
One of the other sort of interesting new rulings is that something like Book of Moon or UCT, UCT's effect on the trap monsters, and it's different from the Paleozoic monsters because the Paleozoic monsters, once they're in the main monster zone, they're treated as monsters. So UCT would flip them face down, and then everything would be applied as normal. But against Conquistador and Hakuero, and the other one Guardian that I'm not running, so against these are still counted as trap cards while they're on the field.
Yeah.
So if UCT would be activating its effect, or or Guru, or someone just activates a random Book of Moon,
Yeah.
these would go back into the spell and trap card zone
And you could just reuse them.
on your turn
Yeah.
again.
I mean, yeah, of course you'd have to wait a turn, but yeah, that is
Yeah.
that is a very niche interaction, very interesting.
Yeah, so it catches a lot of people off guard where they're expecting to do damage with UCT, but they just end up putting giving me back my resources.
Three anti spells. This is Shadal Invoke, just like any deck. That like
Yeah, it's a lot. Should all invoke Dinos. Dinos surprisingly rely a lot on spell cards to get their engine going.
yeah.
It also is for just any sort of combo deck in general.
Mm-hmm.
I sort of took it out because on Dueling Book, especially unrated, Shadal Invoke and stuff like that is not seeing a lot of play. So I actually swapped it out for a Pointer of the Red Lotus.
Mhm.
And a Pointer of the Red Lotus is really good because you're basically playing a stun deck to basically stop your opponent from playing at all, right?
Yeah.
So you're able to get hand knowledge and rip out whatever problematic card your opponent has. So if games 2 and 3, you're going first, you're able to get the entire knowledge of what your opponent's combo line is going to be, but also take out something like Lightning Storm or Evenly Match. And so basically, that's what a lot of people run Judgment for, is to counter those cards. But a Pointer is great because you're setting your opponent almost turn behind, and they're not able to use cards to bluff their way around your interruptions.
Yeah, just the knowledge of knowing your opponent's entire hand and then being able to shut them down is incredibly powerful. Yeah.
Exactly.
Three Lightning Storms, just pushing, going second. I'm guessing this is still just back row and combo, kind of hits both.
Yeah, basically.
Mind Control, the one of, very, very strong. Stealing people's Appaloosa is really good. And then one Order. I guess this goes into the same logic as Anti-Spell.
Yeah.
So, overall, are there any changes you would make to the deck?
So in the main deck, no. I think the main deck is pretty good. I know something to test would be perhaps swapping out the border for a main deck evenly match. That, but again, that sort of depends on the meta. Border is surprisingly good in the mirror actually because they're not able to get their Golden Lord onto the field aside from one of the Eldlichs. And all their hand traps are also dead. So border is actually pretty decent in the mirror. But other than that, I actually wouldn't change anything. I've been testing the invoked Eldlich variant, and that has a much higher power ceiling, but it just loses to a lot of hand traps that the pure variant just doesn't lose to. So I think the pure variant has a lot more resilience to it, and it's probably what I'll be playing going forward. And obviously the side deck is up to the meta.
Okay. And what about the extra deck? Would you consider running maybe Desires or just no draw power and running a full extra deck?
Probably not. X Drive is amazing
Mhm.
because even if this X Drive's like only affect red, banish 6 cards from the top of your deck and your opponent discards Ash, like I think that would still get play.
Yeah.
X Drive is ridiculous. A Pot of Greed, especially in the simplified game state, which Eldlich is in a lot of the times.
Mhm.
Once you just hit that X Drive, you just know you're gonna win. The
Yeah.
only thing that I would sort of really consider would be perhaps swapping out the unicorns for 2 copies of the BLS link,
Mhm.
because the BLS link is actually pretty good, especially in the mirror, because they don't really have an out unless they get their Golden Lord to 3500 attack,
Yeah.
because it can't be targeted, it can't be destroyed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And once per turn, it just don't doesn't Hakiro and Conquistador they don't target though, right? So they
They
could
don't
clear it.
target, but if you make the BLS link with something like the Golden Lord,
Yeah.
because it's made with a level 7 or higher, it's indestructible by card effect as well.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, so that's really strong against the deck in the grind game.
Exactly, and also has non-targeting banish. So once you just beat over one of your opponent's monster, like they have to chain their cards preemptively, or else you just get a non-targeting banish.
Hmm. Okay. So is there anything else you'd like to say about the deck?
No, I think the deck performed wonderfully. Just I guess to give a rundown of my matches in the Tsunami tournament
Hmm.
were round one was Sky Striker.
Hmm.
I played 2 Invoked Eldlich back to back. I played Dino, and then last round of Swiss I played against Scrap Orcust. Top Cut I played against Dino again, and final game was against Orcus as well. I think I only lost 2 duels the entire tournament.
Okay, okay. Oh,
So the deck put in work.
yeah, you did go 7-0 in the tournament. It would
Yeah.
I think definitely think you drew gas game 3 of the tournament or game 2 of the finals.
Yeah, I know I drew nuts in the finals. The finals was yeah, it was a lot down to like the entire deck building.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well,
But yeah,
yeah, man. Thanks for having you. Do you have any shout outs to give?
um, only shout out to be to Team Invoker. I have my friends and I have a channel up on YouTube. If you guys want to go check it out, we do deck profiles and things like that.
Mhm.
It's been a bit slow lately, but we're hoping to start things back up.
Hmm.
And shout out to Tsunami Mats for hosting this tournament as well.
Yeah, man. Thanks for definitely thanks for having you, and it was nice hosting you on the tournament. Yeah, dude.
All right, thank you. I look forward to future tournaments as well.
All right, dude.
Thank you.
Definitely let you know. All right, see you, man.
All right, take care.